Hello and welcome to the AI Governance channel. In this video, we are going to cover the key aspects of SS1/23 Model Risk Management Regulation for banks in United Kingdom. It started out as a consultation paper published in June 2022, followed by 1 year of consultation and feedback before becoming a supervisory statement in May 2023. The financial institutions in the UK, which are governed by Bank of England, have until 17th May 2024 to become compliant with this regulation. Before diving in the regulation, let us understand how Bank of England regulates financial institutions in United Kingdom. After the global financial crisis of 2007-08, new banking regulations were proposed, which gave birth to Prudential Regulation Authority (PRA) and Financial Conduct Authority (FCA) in 2013. PRA creates policies which financial firms in United Kingdom must adhere to and also supervises aspects of their business. SS1/23 Model Risk Management Principles is one of the supervisory policies set by the PRA to govern the development and use of quantitative models for financial firms with a specific focus on machine learning and artificial intelligence. This slide has the exact definition of model as given in the regulation. Please feel free to pause the video for a quick read here or follow the links in the description to the original paper. In simple words, this regulation covers all predictive quantitative models. You might have heard the quote, "All models are wrong, but some are useful," often attributed to Mr. George Box. This quote aptly highlights the inherent risk in quantitative predictive models. These models give probability estimates for future occurrences, and depending on the use case, the actual outcome might differ significantly from the predicted values. As long as the difference in actual and predicted values remains within the specified threshold, it is generally safe to use a model. However, when this threshold is breached, there emerges a need to either recalibrate the model or discard it altogether. In the table on the right, you can see that the core financial models like credit risk, market risk were already covered by existing regulations, but there was no framework for modern methods like machine learning, AI, fraud detection, etc. Hence, PRA released SS1/23 to give an overarching framework for governing all predictive quantitative models. Deterministic quantitative models are excluded from this regulation, but PRA recommends that firms may apply risk management principles to such methods if they have a material bearing on business. The regulation provides a high level overview of the model life cycle. The model begins with the business need and use case. Model development and change covers all aspects of model design, data selection, data cleansing, exploratory analysis, feature selection, model building, model testing, and model selection. After model development, model validation teams review and approve the model for use. This review and approval is generally separate from the testing done by model development teams. The model is then deployed for production. During its deployment, the model is continuously monitored for deviations from real world outcomes and other anomalies. Based on the monitoring outcomes, the model could be retrained with new data, redesigned with new assumptions and algorithms, or simply decommissioned. The regulation lays down 5 key principles for effective implementation of model life cycle. The first principle is model identification and risk classification. We have already looked at the definition of a model. Additionally, all firms should implement a consistent, firm-wide model tiering approach, which assigns risk-based materiality and complexity rating to each model. Model materiality depends on the impact on business. For example, a model calculating the probability of loan default scores high on materiality, while a chatbot for internal employees might have a lower materiality score. Model complexity depends on the choice of algorithm and data. For example, a large language model might have high complexity, while a simple linear regression model might have lower complexity. The assigned model tier needs to be assessed by the independent validation team. Firms should also maintain a complete and accurate set of model inventory for all models that are under use, development for implementation, or decommission. Model inventory should contain the purpose and intended use of a model, assumptions and limitations of the model, validation findings, including model performance indicators, dates when they were last updated, whether model is performing within its thresholds, and any outstanding remediation actions. In this approach, firms can create their own risk hierarchy based on its specific business needs, rather than a predefined hierarchy proposed in other similar regulations like the European Union AI Act. The second principle is governance. It states that the responsibility to establish a firm wide model risk management framework, which promotes management of model risk as a discipline in itself, lies with the board of directors. The board will fulfill these responsibilities through an established senior management function, which assumes the overall responsibility of the model risk management framework. There should be well documented policies and procedures for definition of model and model risk along with risk tiering approach. There should be standards for model development, testing, validation, performance monitoring, and risk mitigation. There should be clearly defined roles and responsibilities for model owners, users, developers, and validators. Third party models should be validated to the same standards as firms' own model risk management policies. A periodic internal audit should be done to assess the effectiveness of the model risk management framework and its adherence to this regulation. The third principle is model development, implementation, and use. All models should have a clear statement of purpose and design objectives to guide the model development process. Data used to develop the model should be suitable for the intended use, representative of the use case to prevent bias, and compliant with data privacy regulations like GDPR. Model performance should be tested on actual past data with clearly defined metrics for model performance. Benchmarking, sensitivity analysis, and A/B testing are also required where applicable. Use of domain experts for feature transformation, feature generation, post processing of model output, or human in the loop feedback are referred as model adjustments based on expert judgment. These should be used where applicable, well documented, and independently validated. The choice of data and modeling techniques, performance testing, and model limitations and adjustments should be thoroughly documented. The supporting systems, which are the development environments, should be thoroughly tested and subject to rigorous quality control and change control process. The fourth principle is independent model validation. Firms should have a validation function to provide an objective, unbiased, and critical feedback on model development and use. It is responsible for independent model review, approval for use, and periodic revalidation of all models. This validation team is separate from the model development team. The independent review of a model should be done in accordance to the model tier. So, a model with high materiality and high complexity has to go through the most rigorous independent review, while models with low materiality and low complexity can have a relaxed criteria. There should be process verification, which is very much like the software testing done for an IT application. It should include verification of input data, code, integration, and model outputs. For models in production, regular model performance monitoring should be done to ensure model is performing within accepted thresholds. If changes are made in existing models, revalidation should be done depending on the nature and impact of change. Even if no changes are made, periodic revalidation should be done depending on the model tier. The fifth principle is model risk mitigation. There should be a consistent process for applying post model adjustment to address model limitations and risk. This policy should be well documented and approved for each model type, specifying the rationale for applied adjustments. If model review or performance monitoring uncover significant errors, there should be a mechanism to restrict or stop model use until these errors are remediated. These errors should be clearly documented and reported to key stakeholders. Firms should also have an exception policy which specifies the case to allow use of a model with known errors. Exceptions should be temporary in nature and subject to approvals. They should be clearly documented and reported to key stakeholders and senior management. This completes the high-level overview of model risk management principles for financial firms in United Kingdom. This regulation comes into effect on 17th May 2024. I hope this video helped you in understanding the key aspects. If you want a detailed overview of enterprise model governance and risk management, I have created a short Udemy course on the same. Links to the course and other useful information are provided in the description. Thanks for watching.